Prose fiction. Prose is the medium used, as stated earlier, in most written and oral communications. Fiction is derived from the Latin word fictum, which means created. Fiction is a term used to denote anything, mainly stories or accounts, that are not real. Fiction is, therefore, any form of narrative which deals, in part or in whole, with events that are not factual, but rather, are imaginary and invented by its author. Apart from the general meaning of fiction as non-factual accounts, it is also used to denote a major branch of literature, especially the novel, and also drama or other theatrical presentations, in the cinematic and musical mode. The important factor here is that the story or presentation is not factual or real. We have learned the meaning of the words prose and fiction as separate words. Now let us try to merge the two words to get the meaning in our present context, that is, as a genre of literature. What then is prose fiction? It is fictional work that is presented in a narrative form. Fiction and narrative are words that distinguish prose fiction from any other form of narrative or fictional work. For instance, drama is fiction, but it is presented in dialogue and not narrative. Prose fiction as a literary genre is made up of the short story, the novella and the novel. Prose fiction tells a story, and the fact that the story is not factual distinguishes it from history. It may exaggerate or distort facts, or the story may be completely an invention of the writer. It depends on the style of the writer, and/or what the writer wants to achieve. The story in prose fiction is invented by the writer, but is presented in a realistic manner. To sum up, prose fiction is a combination of two distinct words, prose and fiction. The former means a presentation of spoken or written words in a narrative manner, while the latter means a non-realistic account. Prose fiction is, therefore, an imaginary work that is presented in a narrative form. It is a literary genre that presents human experience to educate and entertain the readers. It tells a story that deals with cultural, social and political issues in the world, but the characters are not real, known, human beings, but bear human traits and dispositions. Although the story in prose fiction is fictitious, it contains identifiable characters, locations and incidents, and these add to make the story that is presented as realistic as possible. Prose fiction is different from history, which is a documentation of past realistic events. Prose fiction and history. Sometimes, we feel that prose fiction and historical narratives are the same or are similar, since both present human experience. It is important for us to show the relationship between the two. Both are narrative projects, but history is based on actual events, and real names of the participants, actual dates and places are mentioned. History is therefore an empirical social experience, because the historian is concerned with empirical data, operating as much as possible at the level of facts, in pursuit of specific truths. However, novelists depict the social, political, and personal realities of a place and period, with clarity and details more than historians. History is factual documentation, while prose fiction is a work of art. Prose fiction could be based on history, but the author uses vivid and graphic representations of characters and incidents to present an entertaining story. Writers of prose fiction, like historians, could document and present facts, but not as accurately as the historians, because whereas historians present real names of the people involved, places, and dates, in prose fiction real names are not used, though known places and dates could be mentioned. This means that a historical event could be presented in prose fiction, but the writer manipulates the story, in an artistically satisfying manner. The writer here uses fictitious names to avoid litigation. In many works of prose fiction, the author or publisher indicates that the names are fictitious and regrets resemblance of any known person. Prose fiction could use informal language for particular effect, but historical language is expected to be formal and correct at all times. The language of prose fiction language is distinct, and this enables the author to manipulate language, to suit his or her purpose or style, and for the reader's appreciation. This is the end of the lesson. Thank you.